fight out, you heard?
If I wrote a book about where we stand, and the title of my book would be Life with Superman. That's how you make me feel. I count you as a privilege. This love is so ideal. I'm honored to be in it. I know you feel the same. I see it every day, and all the things you do, and all the things you say. You are my rock, baby, you're the truth. You are my rock, I love to rock with you. You are my rock, I love to rock with you.
Okay, hi, Kamulambu Simpiwe, surname Tshona. Originally, I'm from Beaufort West.
My name is Nandipa Zooks Tshona. I was born and bred here in Cape Town from a township, Kwalanga. Right, nice, and I'm married to a very wonderful man, Usimpiwe Tshona. I am a mother of 3 kids. One turning 18 this month, and then 2 boys. Yeah, Dim Law.
Unandipa, we first met at SABC in Sea Point.
I think it was 2002 January. My dad had invited me to an audition.
I was in a project then. It's a musical project called Ijika. Yeah, the praise as well, which was a big project. Yeah, Ma Viki Vilakazi or Yonkwena before Aswelek and all that. So Sasari SAPC, so CPC it was.
So I went, it was a very sunny day, this linenium, Klitomazana ready to sort of wow my father's colleagues.
Actually, I'm not that. So I thought maybe your boyfriend, yeah, and it ish Nangumdana, I get my cheat. I ask if I'm depending on my sheet, away by say, but I eventually got a chance to ubanditete.
Then Utadumbungeni asked me to go and join the cast, which was on the other room. You can imagine getting into a room full of people who know themselves and each other, and I'm the only outcast. So I came into the room, but obviously I needed to find a seat, so I needed to lift my eyes. And when I lifted my eyes, there was Simpiwe sitting in the corner, and our eyes met, and obviously that's the nicest thing to do. Welcome. He smiled. You dimples. And I was like, God, Lord Jesus. And I don't want to lie, for me, I loved what I saw at that particular time. Because I've always liked God. Myself dimples, myself big eyes, nice lips. Youngest Santos, was just crazy. So that's how I met him.
And then we spoke. Anyway, basically, Sea Point, so we took a walk and then started talking. So we dated for some time, and then and then I think a year after we on the corner, so I decided, well, Aisha, let's take it to another level. So let's get married and stay together. And then she said yes. Yeah.
We dated I think 3 years, 4 years or 3, I'm not sure, I don't remember. And one particular time, one thing I loved about us was that we would talk more than anything. Dating, we were friends, so we'd always have conversations. We had a conversation about marriage. I grew up being a tomboy. Like, marriage was the last thing on my mind. Like, really, marriage found me while I was not looking, because I was 22, turning 23. So I don't remember the details of the conversation, but it was a conversation about what I expected, what I wanted for my future. And he also told me, he never went down on one knee That's why I need to remarry. He must marry me again and go on one knee. So out of that conversation, we made that decision that, okay, fine, this is what we want for ourselves. I remember we had a child before we got married. And when he heard that I was expecting, he asked me to marry him. So I was like, no, I don't want. Because at that particular time, I felt he's being himself, because he's a very responsible person. So I felt, no, this is a responsibility talking. I really don't think it's him wanting to get married. So I said, no, I can't marry you. I don't want you to be bitter. Marry me because of a child, and years down the line, you're angry and bitter at me. So we had that conversation again 3 years later. So that's when I agreed, and we had so many challenges. We nearly did not get married. That was 2007 we got married.
No, Ndingati, what had kept us all these years is kuthandana man, and respect one another. Yabo. Proof without respect is understanding. I think it's understanding umuntu, yabo, because Tina, we normally sometimes run away of like ndifuna uzokusabe ilento mna ndifuna abe yiyo. So if akazuba yiyo, then I will always get frustrated and shout into ethile. And I think what it's important is to understand the character yakhe and understand umuntu onjani, uyabo, and then just let it be herself, uyabo. I think if we get to understand ezo zinto, that will keep you even for more than many years, uyabo, either than wanting her uba makabe ndim mna ndibe nguye, or ndifune into ba izinto ezithile mazenzeke ngolu hlobo, and shout if they don't happen that way, and then we start fighting and all that. Yes, sindisiwe uThixo khona usigcinile shem siyathandaza, but either than that, we love one another. We do fight. We're not angels. We do fight. We do have those misunderstandings. Zonke zintos, sometimes not zonke, but ke ezinye zazo nathi ziyenzeka, but ke into ebalulekileyo ukuthi uziresolve njani ezo zinto, uyabo, without having to break one another, uyabo.
Okay, what I think has kept us, it's difficult to really point out because it was not premeditated. We did not sit down and say this is what we'll do and do. We just lived. I don't want to lie, we just lived. But one thing I can mention is realness. One thing, my husband was bare to me and I was bare to him. Bare with the good and bare with the ugly. When I met him, I was the most broken girl ever. And a broken girl to a level where I was not subscribed as the girls who are ready to marry or who would make good wives. Number one, from a background perspective, I come from a very dysfunctional family. Dala, I'm sure if danphila dala, no one ngachatwanga, because ukudala mos kwakuthiwa intombi ikhethwa ngabazali by looking at the home where the girl comes from. I come from that background where maybe I would have been overlooked by certain parents for their sons. One thing that has helped is when I met him, he created an environment for me to be naked with my scars, with things that broke me, and not be ashamed. I think that is what has helped me. I think if he could have missed me then and sort of not help me facing childhood traumas that I went through, I'm sure something could have been wrong somewhere, somehow. But as we entered into marriage, I don't even think he was conscious of those moments where I just spoke things that I thought I would take to the grave. I remember one particular day, I was coming from work. I had just entered the house and he was on his piano. So he was like, Nandi, come listen to the song that I wrote. I'm telling you, I don't know what happened. I ended up just opening up with a lot of things. And from there, I think then he then made it a conscious thing to check in with me, find out how I grew up. And in the same way, he also will share his own experiences. I think helping each other heal from the past is what has been a great foundation that we built our love, our marriage, and understanding upon. And I think the great respect that I have for my husband, it comes from there. I would always honor him for being able to take me through pain that he did not cause, but take responsibility for it in order for me to heal. Go back to that little girl in me who was insecure and could have made a blunder of a wife. Heal me there, even though he was not there. But I think noma kwenzeka ntoni in our lives, I would always look at him as the man that God used to be the channel of my inner healing. And emotionally, I was a healed wife, and I think from then I started to live my life, and that is what has kept us. I don't see ourselves past that moment, because we would have hurt each other. I would have been insecure. He would have had his own baggage that can sort of suffocate marriage. So that's the crux for me. Going back in order to fix, to move forward. That is why we're here. And I also believe that for God to heal, He can never heal what you do not expose. So creating an environment for me to expose is what has made me honor Him, is what has made me easy. It made it so easy for me to submit to Him, even though I have a very strong personality. But there is just some form of honor that I will always have for Him because of that. And I think having to see Him do that for me, then it sort of gave me grace for any other mistake or any of His weaknesses that along the way come. Because I feel there is no greater expression of love than that period for me. So creating that foundation and having to sit down and create our own culture, because we come from broken families, but we had to sit down and create our own culture and just talk about things. That is what has kept us. And I believe having to do that is God anointing him as a husband. Yes. I believe it's not only him, but there is a God behind it. So it is God, but also his obedience and my obedience in my regard, then it's what has kept us standing even now. I believe that. What I would, firstly, I would apologize to myself. I would apologize to myself because I grew up because of lack of love, or rather not being loved the way I thought I deserved to be loved. I would apologize to myself because I ended up being such a people's pleaser. I was that child who will suppress their feelings because what if I say this and then this person drops me or rejects me or doesn't see me as cool or as nice. So I would apologize to myself for having to bend myself backwards in order to fit in. And what I would tell myself as well is what you go through now, it does actually turn out to work for your own good at a later stage. Because there were so many instances where I felt as if I had the worst life, and I felt I was not deserving because of things that mhlawumbi at home they would go through. I would tell myself that remain being yourself. Yabona ngoku, people have a way of struggling to believe that I'm shy. But I'm very shy. It takes so much effort. Like I can talk to you via text, but when I meet you, I sweat, I get nervous. And I think what people think or see as uba outspoken or ondwebileyo, it was when I was little trying to get my mom's attention that I would actually go out of my personality. Because for me, even if you say, hey, that's attention being given. So I ended up being that person. I'm a very shy person. So I would really tell my young self to embrace yourself. Don't change for nobody. You don't have to make others happy at your own expense. Because there's many times where I given a part of me that I felt I shouldn't have given. Or be a particular friend to people who take that for granted, and at the end I'm left feeling, why did you make a fool of yourself? So I would say sorry, and I will tell myself that whatever you go through now at a later stage might work for your own good and change for no one.
Based on Mnane, myself and how I grew up and how I decided to get married and build myself. Dingathi it's good that to be yourself, in everything that you do. Don't always follow friends and follow crowds, especially amajita, because mina ke ndikhule differently, very very differently. Like I was andandisolusan, and not yet had a lot of friends, because kaloku esikolweni uya esikolweni xa ubuya unale job so seyikulindela uba hey hamba bhuti uyabona bokwenza into ethile. And now when you get to school, of which mna ndingathi mostly ndancedwa nguThixo for into ze-low self-esteem zentoni, because most of the time what you do, people outside they will call you ngale nto bakubona ngayo, uba uyolusa uhleli eklasini kuthi unukublo. So those stuff sensitsho for me, I wouldn't want umntanam now ati go through ezo zinto, because yes, I don't know ndiqethe njani kweza way, because as much as bendingazihoyi, but xa ndizicinga ngoku uba yi-damage leya, because naselokishini sometimes ufuneka udlale nabantu, and iBbeaufort West ayikho sezilalini, it's somewhere around 5 hours out of Cape Town. So now xa udlala nabantu, you know ijoke izawuqala kubani, you don't even have to uba uyixoxe loo nto, so if abantu bafuna into yojoka ngento, they will always probably start ngegama lakho passing, so ube nala magama ngokubizwa ngalo, like for instance if uye eBeaufort West ubuza uSimphiwe akaziwa, uSimphiwe kwaziwa uMarshall, and elaa gama kaloku uMarshall umolusi,
Magesh usuka pha.
So sometimes so uzofumaniseka uba really it affects komnye umntu. But for me zange ndazohoya ncam ezo zinto uba I don't know uba ndigqithe njani, actually ndiyatsho nje uba zange ndizohoye, but ke I ended up making my own decisions, because ne-family yam, it's not a fussy family, I'm telling you. If uthi gqi usele, it's like it's normal, uyajokwa uyahlekwa. If uthe gqi uchayile, like ayingoba abantu ba usele ngantoni, don't do, like ngabantu nje aba simple, they don't see anything wrong. So I don't know why I couldn't, even noma mom, she wouldn't believe into yoba zange ndasela okanye ndisela, uzothanda umntanam ngoDisemba ngoku abanye abantwana bayasela, ndiyayazi uyandirespekta noko, ngawuthi kancinci wonwabe nabanye abantwana. So for me it wasn't like that, uyabo. Up until I left Beaufort West ndayofunda somewhere in Northern Cape, and then uyabo came into Cape Town. Xa ndigoduka mna bendine-keyboard yam, nandivele ndizidlalela i-keyboard yam ndizenzele umculo wam, uyabo. But ke what I would say umuntu into yoba don't let the situations odlula kuzo to change you okanye zikuaffect u-end up uyabo uyile nto abantu bacinga uba yiyo. So you can still make your own decision. I came to Cape Town having nothing, like nothing. Ndizazi uba ndizofunda and I'm here to build myself, and I did that.
One thing that you have taught me is patience. You are very patient. You're one person that accepts anybody. Like there are times certain people are not regarded as people you should embrace, but you have embraced everybody. I mean, from Ekaya. Okay. I've seen you respect, I've seen you love abantu basekhaya even when they're drunk. I think alcohol is one thing that makes people lose respect, but your patience towards them, I think that's one thing that have taught me to respect everybody, to love everybody, no matter their conditions, no matter whether they live a life outside of my beliefs. That you have taught me. Be patient. Other people are getting there. Sometimes we get to want to rush them to reach certain points, but I've seen Simpiwe settle where people are. He's not afraid to drop his level to my drunk uncle's level and have a conversation and respect him on top of that. So you have taught me patience. Even with our kids, Uyondi turning 18, I've seen him being patient with her as she's a teenager. We take things very differently. He's very calm, and I'm very. But you have taught me to not want Uyondi to live my life, but me accept her in her choices, even when she makes mistakes. So that for me speaks a lot on being patient with people and getting to meet people where they are. You have taught me, I'm a very talkative person, but Simply is not talkative. You have taught me to action what I want to say. I think for me, that's one of the most profound things. Rather than saying, I love you, rather do something that will show the person that you love. That's the other thing that you taught me. And lastly, you have taught me to honor my parents. I think me and my mom, we come a long way. I think I was practically raised by my dad and my grandmother. So you are I grew up thinking, okay, fine, my mom is not there or whatever. Many things I blamed her for without having to blame alcohol. But when I met Simpiwe, like, he taught me to accept umamam ngendlela angayo, and rather than focus on what she did, but rather try to extend understanding. That is what she knew better. That's the mother she knew she could be, which was not necessarily the mother that I cried and I longed for. He has taught me to respect mama, Like the relationship we have now is totally different from the one that harbored anger and resentment. Like Tikula and Mama Zamboni, so my mom, yes. Like Tikula and Mama, Tifano Kula, and do everything for my dad. And my mama would treat it as if I can't go. But when I met him, and he taught me to honor my mom. Like even now, I'm a stay-home mom now, but he's able to give me money to take care of my mother without having to make an excuse that I'm not working, and to actually go to where my mom stays, even when she's drunk. Even when she's drunk, Kala, I would be so ashamed. I would not want to be in the same space with her. But he has made me comfortable in even and be proud of that. That she's my mom, because I used to be so ashamed and lie. So I think that's the best thing you could have ever given me. Because if that part of me, he did not teach me, I do believe ikona into that I was gonna rob my children of myself. So I think that's the best thing he could ever teach me. I think I say a lot of thank yous to him, because as in his classes, like you take them for granted, but when you actually look back and then you realize that's the time you go, okay, fine, wow, this was a great thing. So thank you, my friend.
Yeah, for me, first, I've learned a lot of things, but and this was chose on. Because I did a cool song, so I don't wanna yeah, for me, I've learned a lot from her, that mostly like if ndandingazange ndadibana naye, like andiyazi uba ilife yam ngenjani okanye ngendiphi noma ngengubani, yabo, because me udibana kwam naye changed a lot of me, a lot of thinking, a lot of things actually, yabo. Ewe ndiyayazi uba uThixo nguye ondenze ndangulo mntu ndinguye, but my wife played a huge role, yabo, in molding me to be the person that I am today. Even I, same thing I did, the relationship even that she had even with my family, it's and they ask how to explain it. Ungacimbi noba these sisters okanye ngabantu ekudala, like they've got such a good relationship. Like I've learned a lot from her that showed me ukuthi, that helps me as well to help her ukuthi abe ngumuntu onjani even ekhaya, uyabo, so that my family, when they need something okanye kholondi khoyo, they are not scared of just calling her bathethe le nto abafuna uyithetha without having to uqala ngam sizama ukugubhula ekoneni bamamela ke xa umqala uzokufuna ubeke point, uyabo, ukuze uthini. So uyabo, so mna ndingatsho that helps a lot for me actually, undinceda loo nto, uyabo. But ke she helped me in a lot of things. Zininzi manje izinto, uyabo, zininzi man, like I can't mention all of them. I can't mention all of them. Kaloku ndiyimenshile. Do you mention it like the one that you helped me a lot to be my I wouldn't be where I am without you. What else? Man. Like I saw this fun because now so for me I know about that. Like that's one thing that I would always say. One thing I know, but I would never be the same pure that I am without her. That's the straightforwardly. But most us men, we won't go into all details like women do. But at the end of the day, I know what I know. Sense means
How important is friendship in marriage?
Friendship ibalulekile man. That ibalulekile because it helps uba sithetha akho nto fanele singathethi ngayo noba siyahleba andihlebi komnye umntu intlebo yethu iphelela apha ayiphumeli phandle ubona so ibalulekile we friends siyahleba siyancokola akho nto singayityiyo siyahlafuna sihlebe sonke iphele lapha. I think it's important to be a friend with your partner. Share. But as much as umntwana ekushonizakhe but ibalulekile nale uba we become friends so we can be able to share a lot of things. Ndingoyiki noba mandithethe ngento ethile. That's my.
I think the foundation of friendship is what actually worked for us, because friends, we don't think twice about talking, even when we are wrong, even when we are bad. We are not afraid to share our shame. I think akho bantu that have ibhegi secrets like friends, and I think sometimes is what make friendships last. Cause ikhona lando xa ungena emtshatweni ufumaniseke ba utata kabani ngoku awuzokwazi uthetha into ethile inayo mani seriousness eye uqonde into yobana ngaba uxolele uthula because you're afraid, you want to be le nto ufuna uyithetha ufuna uyihombisa, but a friend uyibetha phaqa uba uyithathe njani okanye wayi-interpreta njani, you move. So I think even in issues of intimacy, if you are not a friend, awuzokwazi ukuthi Jembe hayi uyandiroba okanye uzi-express because utata kabani uzothi ndibone ntoni phi. Do you understand? And I remember early in our marriage, during the deed, my husband would not be afraid to ask, is this how you want it?
Okay.
And like for me, it's very funny, we'll end up laughing, but at least he's learning something about me. So I think for openness sake and freeness, friendship should be, he needs to be my friend before he's my husband.
Alright, what comes first?
No, for me, I would say marriage is good. So it's good to get married. There's nothing wrong with it. But be yourself, love one another, khathalelani. Ne point ebengike ndayithetha kuqala that when you meet your wife or your husband or whatever, don't try to change umuntu ufuna makabe yilento wena ufuna ube yiyo. Awuzusurvive mntakwethu. I6 months izawukonela uphume kulonto. Yabo. So try to understand umuntu the way ayiyo. Nawe understand, umyeke naye understand, so that you guys can grow together and understanding one another. If unengxaki yohlamba izitya wena ukhule uzihlamba, zihlambe mntakwethu izokunceda lonto. Yabo. So apho yena awiki khona wena vala isikhewu.
Yeah.
Don't always show the weakness by hey akuklinwanga hey into ethile hey uyabona la hey uyakhula and become something else. So when I just try to be strong where your wife is weak. Yeah, then you will grow together. Come good. Thank you.
Okay, to the singles, to the single people, mainly the ladies, what I can advise is get rid of the list. Kukola list that we have, that you want to have a tall guy, a handsome guy, a rhetoric guy, a rich guy. Like in a list, yeah.
Don't say get rid of the list.
But allow me to speak.
Leave people with their...
Get rid of the list. The reason why I'm saying get rid of the list is most of the time, having this idea of a person, most of the time, it will never hlangana. I'm still looking for a woman that says, I got what I had on the list. La list will make you miss great people whom God had brought your way to build you. The list that I had, my husband, I couldn't do one list.
You?
Ayiko nyani mntwana.
Yeah.
But a list has some kind of fabricated love.
Okay.
Like it love it delusional, I think, for me. And you will never find purpose being part of the list. Most of the time it's outward things, it's behavioral things, but it has absolutely nothing to do with destiny, which I feel and I know that every single marriage there is injongo uthixo anayo ngayo that has to be fulfilled, and the things we write on the list will never take you to purpose. The other thing that I would say is get rid of the type. There is no such thing as the type. Ayiki type. I will still go back to that into ngaba. I'm yet looking for a woman that says I married the type that I wanted and I've been able to build and revolve in my life. Utaipu uyawuphela uzungeza ube skeleton usalinde itype undazi. Most of the time akuvamile ufumana uthixo ekunikeza itype that carries destiny for you as a woman. Akuvamile akunikeze la type ubuqonda since you met the type your life is going up and you are fulfilling your own personal what's this thing? Your own personal purpose, because there is purpose for Uzuks, there is purpose for Usimpiwe, and there is purpose for the Tshonas. Type Mda say it will never take you there. To the married ones, create your own culture, build your own marriage, have people that guide you, but make your own choices. Don't let people that we look up to influence and shape your marriage according to how they think your marriage should be, but how our marriage should be our decision. So yeah, for the married, please.
I love you and I care a lot about you. Thank you for being a good wife. Thank you for undipha abantwana bam abathathu. Yeah, ndiyakuthanda.
I am so glad
That I married you.
that I met the colorful you with red blue shirts, yellow shoes, red caps. I'm glad that I met the you with earrings, sleeves. I'm glad that you were not the type. but you were what I needed to meet who I really was. You might have been the ultimate type wrapped with lap of not being the type. But I'm glad that I said yes to you. You are the better part of my life. I met the best version of me the day I met you. You are a great man. You are a very great man. If you could meet a broken, directless girl like me and bring out a wife that could bear and raise children, build up a wife that owns her own business, it means that when I was handed over to you, you did exactly more than what my dad did. Like, you did not marry me and became less of the man my dad was. You are greater. In my eyes, there is no hero like my dad, but you are far more greater when I look at you. I'm so glad that when my daughter tells you that I need to find a man like you, you don't know how much that excites me, because you have set a standard of the man that she needs to welcome in her life. So thank you for a wonderful life. On a serious note, Papa, when I look at you, I see God's comfort to me for every heartache that I endured. Like, you are the ultimate gift to me. And thank you for giving me lots of money to take care of myself. Thank you for taking care of the inner me and also taking care of the outer me. If I were given a chance to marry, I'll marry you again over and over.